y'all. September 1st, 2024, the year of our Lord. Old and great. Y'all know what I do. You know what time it is. It's High Off the Glass, y'all. This episode I've been looking forward to since I made the bet with these two wonderful individuals. I am super excited about this episode right here, y'all. This is one I've been gearing up for a minute. This is everything to me. Did I let her in? Admit her. Yes. Admit that young lady. There we go. Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Yo, we made it.
I was trying.
No,
there we go.
We were going to get you in there. We're going to get you in there. Okay.
It's like, oh, God, I look sunburned. Okay.
You're good to go. You're good to go, Miss Beadle.
I just ran upstairs. We got this. Let's do it.
Yes, ma'am. I am beyond excited. I can't believe these folks actually did what they said they were going to do. They said they would come on my show if the Celtics won the NBA championship. And guess what? Anything is possible, damn it. I was trying to get the KG sound, but I didn't get the there it is. Bring it up. Bring it up. It's right now. Man. Anything's possible. It is possible. Thank you, Justin Kickett, owner of Overtime Studios. We are here, 3119 Hampton Ave, Overtime Studios, my city, my music. Tell me, what do you want me to do, Chief?
I got you.
All right, do it.
I like that.
This is everything for me. How are y'all doing today?
Amazing.
Straight chilling.
That's
avoiding rain, which is so far so good.
Yeah.
I know you guys were talking about New York finally getting some fall weather. That was like fake fall, wasn't it?
Dude, it's,
yeah.
it's 83 degrees. It's gross out. It's looking like it's going to rain all day long, and it won't do it. So it just stays like we're all cooking in the stew.
No, it's coming. I can tell you, I just drove back in from Connecticut. It's coming.
Nice. Ooh, New England, my part of town. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Okay, well, just for those of you who don't know, that don't know, Michelle Denise Beadle, born in Italy, raised in the suburb of San Antonio, Texas, alma mater, University of Texas at San Antonio, also University of Texas at Austin. You know where you love her. I mean, the woman was on ESPN, Yes Network. What is it? NBA Countdown. Run It Back right now. Is it Top Rope? What's the show you have with Pete?
Oh, Over the Top.
Over the Top with Pete.
For half a second, I forgot what it was called. I was like, I don't know, actually.
Sister has more jobs than a little bit, y'all. She's not Jamaican. She's Italian. And the woman's outstanding. And y'all know who it is. And I just appreciate her being here. Also, not to be forgotten about, we have Cody Marshall Decker. I like to call him Lil Pete. Born in Santa Monica.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
It is very real.
Marshall. Dude, why are you blowing up? Why are you blowing me up?
Did not know that, and
Marshall.
I thank you for that.
Bro, seriously?
I had to do it. I found it. I got to say it. Yep.
You just ruined my next year of this contract. She's going to call me that all the time.
Call him
that
Eminem.
name is stupid.
Yes. I love it.
Actually, no. Marshall Mathers, Thurgood Marshall.
Right.
Like, they're cool Marshalls.
Man.
I mean,
Yo.
Then there's everyone else ever named Marshall.
The rest of the Marshalls.
I tell you, one thing Miss Beadle always does, she knows how to grab the right X's, like the right name. When they brought up X, I don't know nothing about the pill, but I know about Malcolm X. I love that when you said that on the line. Yo, Little Pete, a.k.a. Cody Decker, drafted 09, San Diego Padres, round 22, overall pick 654. My man went to UCLA, played baseball there. He's cold-blooded. You talking about someone who literally made it to the majors but was one step away from that career. That's this guy. This dude knows baseball in and out. I'm going to tell you right now, though, I'm going to start it off like this. Lil Pete, what always gets me is your memory of other sports other than baseball. Like you can quote a game from like an NFL game, basketball you do a little bit, baseball of course is your thing, but how you can remember such and such with football. You were just a huge football fan back in the day, I'm assuming.
Football fan, and honestly, if it doesn't help you at all in life, I can retain it. I retain useless information better than any human being on planet Earth. If you need help with your taxes, don't call me. But if you need like a lot of information about Married with Children, well, perhaps I could be some assistance.
Yeah, Marcy
That's
Darcy
actually better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So much better than tax work.
Right.
And making money.
No doubt.
By the way,
No doubt.
nobody knows the good stuff about taxes, and that's why you pay, the loopholes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like we're not supposed to know that. That's
Right.
why those people get to charge us so much money.
Exactly.
What's a scam?
But what if it was like I had all this knowledge that I have, wasted away on like old Cosby Show episodes or something, and I could, use it for like the good of the world, like, finding tax loopholes.
Okay. And I'm going to question that knowledge right now. What's a Gordon Gartrell?
Dude, I got nothing.
Oh my God, what? You just
It's been
said-
too long since I've watched the Cosby Show. I'm trying to delete that, actually.
Oh man, don't do it. I mean, yeah, he did some horrible things, but that show was still outstanding. And a Gordon.
Wait, who's Gordon? That's not the guy that
Remind
would
me.
challenge him in track, was it?
No, that was Thurman or Thurman something.
Loved him.
But,
He had a name. He had a nickname.
Gordon Gartrell was the shirt that he wanted, that Theo wanted, and it was too expensive.
Sleeves.
Yes, there it is, sleeves. And Sandra made it, and it was horrible. There you go. Yep, Michelle knows what it is.
Oh, that was like yellow and black or gold
Yellow
and
and-
black. Or
yes.
something.
It was hideous. It was hideous. Kadeem Hardison had a cameo on the episode. Okay, so we gotta start with the ladies first. Ladies first always. Miss Beadle, you're an animal advocate. You love animals, but your first love, I guess, was law. So yeah. So my question is like, why law from Giddy up?
Well, I was an idealist, as most young people tend to be. But from an early age, like I actually wanted to, when I was 6, my parents I told them I wanted to go to Harvard and become a corporate lawyer, which clearly I heard in a movie somewhere that they made a lot of money or something. And I must have been like, oh, that's for me. But as I actually grew up and had a conscience, it was like, oh no, I actually should do something for the world. And I wanted to go into, fun time to say it, I wanted to go into politics. Yeah, I know. Looking around now, I'm like, nope, I made the right choice. But because you think when you're younger, you think that people go into politics with all the right reasons, and I'm sure some still very much do.
Right.
But it was, to help those who can't help themselves. And once I got to UT Austin and I started doing all the pre-law stuff, and I'd look around at my, I guess, future colleagues, I was like, this is not going to be for me.
Right.
And that was kind of it. Weirdly, I do love to argue. And I do love the idea of like, telling people off in a dignified way in a courtroom, but money was better on this side.
It really was. Okay. And just to let you know too, I meant to mention this on your on Beadle and Decker. I watched South Beach session with you and Levitard. It was excellent. That man knows what he's doing through and through. I can't believe he cracked your sarcastic shell. He's good at that, but guess what? This ain't that. So it ain't that today. So, all right.
Not again.
Yeah. Lil Pete, you're up.
What?
Okay. Question for you, my dude. You were a theater kid back in the day that could mash.
Yes.
Those are your words, and I believe it. Growing up in SoCal, and I know you had to make a decision at 18, baseball or acting. How did you not do acting? You're already right there.
Great point.
Well, because I was like, I was a good-looking kid. I was 18 years old, and I was a very good-looking kid. But like, even in L.A., as a good-looking kid, I was like a soft 8 in L.A., and I knew in a couple of years that soft 8 was going to be a soft 6. And hi.
Hey, excuse me,
No,
Steve.
I'm fine.
Steve Buscemi has had one hell of a career.
I agree, but I don't have that type of definition in the eyeballs that Steve Buscemi has.
None of us do.
Like, I mean, look at me right now. Like, oh, we already have a Vin Diesel. We don't need 2 of these.
Yeah.
So-
He's a Vin Diesel, y'all.
Sir.
What?
Sir.
Deep voice, Jack.
Oh, wow.
He is jacked.
Okay. So yeah.
How dare you?
So and you were at the time you were like, okay, you knew what it was, you knew what the future was. So baseball, let me do this.
Well, it was more like I trained my whole life to be a baseball player. Baseball was my entire life, and acting was a hobby that I really, really enjoyed. I was a part of a theater company. I loved doing it. I had a lot of meetings with a lot of agencies that were trying to convince me not to go to play baseball at UCLA, which was very strange to me at the time. There was no choice. It was an obvious choice. I was always going to play baseball, and that was always my plan. It would have taken like something absurd to convince me to do otherwise at the time, and that's just not how Hollywood works. Plus, I was around the industry, grew up around it, and I knew a lot of people in it. And it's not an industry that just you walk in and you just have success. That's a percentage of a percentage. As hard as it is to get to Major League Baseball.
Right, I was gonna ask, yeah.
I'm glad I chose really two cool careers at a young age.
That are extremely hard to get into.
Yeah,
Okay.
super.
Okay, Miss Beadle, like I mentioned before, and I think you made the right decision, by the way, even though you have it. Like, both of y'all, that's the thing about why I was so intrigued and excited and stuck on y'all show since Giddy Up, because you both have it. Like, you all, like, I see Miss Beadle arm up on a chair, leaning back, giving the greatest sports take and knowing exactly what she's talking about. Cody will mess up a read 10 seconds before, but will come in with his take and kill it. Like, y'all have it. Like, it's amazing. I love your reads, by the way.
I can't read.
No, you say yes, you can. Yes,
Dude,
you can.
wait till you have to do. Did you do the Samsung one yet? That one is a mouthful.
No, I'm dreading. Like, Michelle's going away for like 2 weeks on a European trip, and I am dreading some of these reads, because like some of them you have to understand. Like we actually use a lot of these products, and they're great.
Oh, yeah.
But some of the reads, let's just say, weren't written by the team that did the products. It's like, I think it comes through a committee and it gets to us, and I'm reading it and I'm like, this is almost how a human would say it. I'll do my best. And then usually it's the first time I'm reading it, and then there might be a grammatical error in there, and I have to say it, but I can't actually say it. And also I have like this deep-rooted fear of speaking. It happened like when I was in elementary school, reading in front of a class, and I stumbled over a word and kids giggled, and it's still in the back of my head, and I can't get rid of it. So I can't read in public.
Okay.
This is it. All your fears.
We see it, but that's the thing that confuses me, and you mentioned that on the show before. But dude, you were an actor on stage.
I memorized everything before I went on stage. That was a very strict rule. Because if I went up there and I had to read lines that I knew, but if you put the words in front of me, all of a sudden, I'm in trouble. Like, I joked with Michelle the other day. We were getting ready to do our Norwegian read, and I said, "Michelle, sit back. I got this," because I practically memorized it.
Yo, this is the one, my favorite ones out of all the reads you all do. The Norwegian one, because it's such a tongue twister, it's so long, and then the one that y'all did last year for Mazda. That Mazda one was great.
That was all Michelle.
And Miss Beadle, you know what I'm talking about. The one when Miss Beadle was gone and Cody had to read it, and he didn't pre-read it, and he read it like he was a female. Oh, man, I'm talking.
I even stopped, Michelle. I even stopped, and like, when I get in my car and get my makeup and groceries, I'm like, guys.
By the way,
guys,
who does that?
Like, what is it? Like,
that makes
they're
sense.
like, we sent it to you. I'm like, you sent it. You know I didn't read this.
No. It's fun though.
It is.
I think it's fun. That could be a whole thing on its own.
It is
the first time.
I mean,
it was
shoot,
so great.
We know how other folks do it. They make that a whole segment. Okay, so Miss Beadle, getting back to you. Okay, so again, you've had too many jobs to name. Like,
that's fair.
You are not Jamaican, but you work. You know what I'm saying? But one that I found that I'm super intrigued behind is. Behind the chutes sideline reporter for Professional Bull Riders, aka PBR. Yes. What the hell was that? What was that?
So I was an intern for the Spurs. None of this was planned. Obviously, I wanted to be a politician, and I remember they were like. Nobody had any advice for me in the sense of like, what do you do next kind of advice? Because I didn't know. But I was like, I guess I'll try to do TV after they let me do a couple things with the Spurs. And so I got an agent in New York. Not a great one, but he was one. And that was my first job. It was like Miss America or Miss USA or whatever was doing this job for PBR where you just interview the bull riders behind the chute. It's basically their version of a sideline reporter is what it is. And she had this job, but she had to miss 2 weekends to go to do pageant stuff, give the crown back, whatever it is, crap that they do. So I filled in for her randomly. And despite growing up in Texas, I didn't go to rodeos. This was not our world. I have no idea about any of it.
Wow.
And I went, filled in for her, and they liked it, so they offered me the job. and it was crazy. I mean, it was. I'm not kidding when I say it was like learning a new lingo. Like it was different language to me. It was the way they spoke, and kind of crazy. But I was around that world for a couple years, and I made at least one friend that I kept through it. Which is great. And just a talk about culture shock. That was a culture shock for me. Like I had to go buy things that I thought looked Western I don't know what that means. Like I bought like a Ralph Lauren suede top that I sweat through because I was so nervous on night one.
No doubt. No doubt. So you Wally pipped.
I was going to say that. You Wally pipped the dude.
Right, a Miss America. Like, goodness. Wow.
Did I do that? Hey, you know, what are we gonna do? I didn't mean, by the way, did not mean to, but that was a nice, it was a nice beginning. I had confidence. I was like, oh, this is easy.
Okay, so they had you behind the chutes. Were you literally behind where where the bulls are, for real?
Yeah, so where you know, there's different gates, and the bulls are loaded in, and the guys get on, and so you would do interviews there. I remember one time they decked me out and they sat me on top of Bodacious, who's one of the the meanest bulls of all time, in the chute.
They put you slow down, Ms. Beadle. They put you on top of the bulls.
I had the chaps on. I had everything on. I was like, I dressed the part, and by the way, look, he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
But that doesn't make you less tense because theoretically he could jump, he could lean, he could do whatever, and you're in there. But yeah, it was one of these, like, just hurry, let's just do it. I'll say the words and, like, get out. I just want to get out. But, yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Man, that was way more than I thought it would be. Wow. Congratulate. Props to you. It was
fun. It was a chapter. It was definitely a chapter.
You get air horn for that. Jamaican air horn for that. Goodness, that was – woo. Okay. Lil Pete, next up. You, for your very last career game in the minors, you hit a walk-off two-run home run. Not to mention you hit a RBI that tied up the game right before it went into extras. So you have that amazing ending for your baseball career. Did you ever think before you put your glove and your helmet in your locker, or when you were hugging everybody, and the way you described it just seemed magical, like how everything played out. Did you ever think in the back of your mind, if I go hard one more year, I can do this? And I know you had opportunities and jobs laid out on the table. I guess you had an awesome sports media job in Boston waiting for you. But did you ever think in the back of your mind, maybe one more year if I go hard?
Truth was, that's what I'd been saying to myself like the previous 5 years.
Right.
So it was getting sad and pathetic a little bit in my own mind. Probably not to anybody else, but in my mind, I was just like, they don't play me every day. They literally won't play me every day, no matter what I do.
Why was that?
It was just I was aging out. I was 30 at this point. I was a dude that no one invested money in, and they actually had stats that they wouldn't show me. They said they had these stats, so maybe they're just lying to me. They said they have stats that proved that I was actually good for a team, that whenever I was added to a team, the winning percentage of said team would go up because I would affect the team in different ways, not just on the field. So I would just get jobs that way. So the Diamondbacks kept bringing me back and freely admitting, like, listen, the goal is to sell you to Japan or to Korea. But the problem is, for us to sell you to Japan or Korea, you have to put up the numbers, and we're not going to give you the at-bats for the numbers unless guys just get hurt. So when guys got hurt, I would play for 2-3 weeks, and then the guys would come back, and I have to go back on the bench. And that was the way it was at the end of my career. 31, 32 years old, where you're not old on paper. Physically, you would make the argument I was like at my peak condition. I could do some stuff, but it's just not how the reality of baseball was. Baseball's getting younger and younger and younger, and I got 24-year-olds on my team calling me pops. Like, I'm like, bro, like, I need to get the hell out of here. And I had an offer on the table that finally was good enough that I just couldn't say no to. And dude, I during COVID, in fact, I was talking with the Angels about possibly coming out of retirement and playing. Whoa. They offered me a job to go to AAA, and I'm like, okay, I'll go there, but what are the odds you bring me up? They're like, well, we want you to take care of this player. I'm like, I did.
That's Bull Durham. You should have done it.
It was exactly Bull, but I had already done that. I did that for 2 years. Again. My God, Michelle, why do you wish for this upon me?
Because it's Bull Durham.
Right. Yeah, but it's sad.
Would you have been
Bull
with
Durham's
the Angels?
Not a happy story.
It's not. But
They're all crying at the end of the movie.
But you hate Field of Dreams. Good God.
No, Bull Durham, classic, and it's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, I love it.
It's beautifully tragic.
If you would have done that with the Angels, would you have been with the Angels or their minor league?
I would have been probably in AAA in Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
And it would have been cool. I really did consider it. It was right when baseball started back up. I think it was like right at the beginning of 2021, like after the short season. Right. Minor leagues were starting back up, and they had a guy they really wanted someone to usher in, and they called me and asked my interest, and we discussed a couple of times. So I was just like, man, I don't I don't know if I can. At this point, I had already been working at like Odyssey stations. I literally had 3 shows on 670 The Score in Chicago, and like I was all over the place. And dude, you mentioned that home run, the way I ended it. I'm not going to top that. Dude. Even though it was in AAA baseball, it was like I could make a movie about that. Literally. And you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. The story you gave would led up to it. I think his sister's name was Jess Kleinschmidt, that you were on her show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, she works for the A's. Like, good goodness. That story is amazing. So with Boston, though, what was that? Was that sports media job in Boston?
So it wasn't in Boston. It was just that's where the Odyssey thing was that they flew me into. It was actually going to be nationwide. So Odyssey was starting up at the time a new division. They were called Entercom at the time.
What's Odyssey?
Called Radio.com Sports, and that was going to be like their new sports national flagship. And some of those shows still exist to this day. And I had a show mid-afternoons. I was in the East Coast. I was supposed to be this LA-based sports show. And as time kind of went forward and COVID immediately hit like 6 months into the show, even though it was doing pretty well, it kind of shut it down, and they shut down the entire channel to the point where they just moved me around all over the place, like Chicago and Vegas, New York. And believe it or not, weirdly, that's kind of how Craig saw me. He was suggested to watch something, and he was supposed to watch somebody else, and he saw me and said, I want to meet him. And next thing you know, I'm fly to New York, and my entire life has radically changed. And now I'm working with Michelle for a second year. It's wild, man.
Wow. So
life's weird, dude.
Carton is the reason why you it gave you like the leg up that you have.
He's the one that brought me to New York. At the time, I was actually starting I was actually starting to work in Chicago for Stadium. So I was doing everything on Live at the Line, which our friend of the show, is Brad Evans.
Oh, that's my guy.
That was his show. So I was actually doing. Yeah, so Brad had an accident where he had to be off TV for a while, so they brought me in to replace Brad. And so I was working in Chicago on TV for there, and that's when I got the call to possibly move to New York. So it was almost like I got cherry-picked immediately as I started this Chicago job to go to New York. It was kind of a whirlwind of 2 months of me living out of a suitcase, and then next thing you know, 8-9 months later, I'm still living in New York out of my suitcase.
That's awesome, man. I tell you, one thing I'm noticing from both of you all, it's very organic how these opportunities have presented themselves for you all, like super organic. What I'm noticing, and Miss Beadle, next question for you that I have, because like I said, your list of former lives, aka jobs, are amazing. What was your favorite former job that you had?
Man, I mean, there are some really dumb ones. Like, I say dumb with love. Like, I did a few things for like the Travel Channel where they fly you to Hawaii for a week, or it's silly, or you go to you travel to all these fancy hotels around the country and you just sort of show how the other half lives. Like, those were just silly but fun gigs. Honestly, the first few, I mean, I loved Sports Nation. Like, the first few years of that, I feel like I was part of the entire thing. Like,
it was such a fun show.
Yeah, we built it up from scratch. It was supposed to be Colin Cowherd's show, and by the time we really had it going, it was like such a good group effort of people who've all gone on to sort of on their own do great things. And I loved how free that was. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know any better. So I didn't realize that that's not how all shows operate. Yeah. You don't get this kind of freedom at every single program. And so it was really cool to be left alone by the suits for the most part. And then the thing started to make money, and it was like, oh, okay, we get to do really cool things. We get to travel and do tours and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know that there'll ever be that real kind of freedom again. Unless you're, lucky enough to go off and form your own media company, a la Levitard, and then you do whatever the hell you want, which is sort of a big thing. I don't have aspirations to sort of run a company the way he's going, but to work for one like that that's cool. I love seeing my friends get to do that, and it's been fun.
God, yes, because I mean, what Meadowlark is doing is outstanding. Oh. And your former boss at ESPN, Meadowlark CEO, why am I drawing a blank on this man?
Oh, John Skipper.
Skipper. Yeah. The Skipper, is he the one that put you three together?
At the time it was a guy named John Walsh. Skipper was there.
Okay.
But John Walsh was, I don't know what his actual title was, but he was part of sort of the suit group at that time. And it was such a funny process. And at the time when I auditioned for it, I think I was one of the last women to come through for the spot. And you're not going to get most of the jobs that you're up for. So you just sort of, at that point, I don't take anything very seriously anyways. And I remember we had the audition. It was silly and goofy, and it was like Post-it notes on a whiteboard because nothing existed yet. Mm-hmm. And as I'm leaving, the guys were like, why don't you write a list of the top 10 things you would do to change or add to Sports Nation, which again is not a show yet. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm just sarcastically, I'm making up. I'm just like more purple. Like nothing I wrote on this top 10 list was real. But I what am I supposed to say? And I remember I was going to turn that in, and the guys were like, no, we need you to actually, before we turn this into the real suits, we need you to do something. So we kind of together worked on it. And like, that was it. But it was just such a weird assignment to be given before a possible job that I was like, oh, okay, it worked. Mm-hmm. It finally worked.
And that's what got you in. Like, that literally was what got you in. They saw it from that list. Like, that is outstanding. I just, again, that's when I became a huge fan of yours with Sports Nation. Sports Nation was you, LZ Granderson, Wiley. I love Marcellus. I hope since our guy Max Kellerman is out of that hibernation, aka buyout bullshit time, that him and Marcellus can get back together. Is there any word? Does anybody know what this man is going to do?
I mean, he's been so. I've reached out a few times. We've talked a couple times over the years, but yeah, he did a good job of disappearing. That's what you do when they pay you to disappear. You disappear for a while. And he's so. By the way, he's in a good spot when they make changes at Fox or they make changes everywhere, and he's the first name people are like, "Where's Kellerman?" So whatever he decides to do next, I'll be excited for. But I'm with you. Like when they used to do radio in LA, Marcellus and Max. It was my favorite radio show. It was like truly in the afternoon. Loved it.
It was so good. I love Max. Anything he does. I love when he would shut down Stephen Idiot Smith. He would shut him down. Like when you have a show and you're talking about issues of race and sports, and the white guy from Brooklyn is more with it than the black dude from New York. I don't know what borough he's from. I don't care. Queens, whatever the hell. But for real. But when Max is more, I can't think of no better word, but woke than Steven. Like, geez, like what am I supposed to do? Like,
and not just that he's sort of in the right. He's just on the right side of things. It was the fact that he was so good at putting it into words. Too good. I mean, too good that he was wanted out.
Which is why we don't know where he is.
He can't
be better than the dude who thinks everything's his show. So it's tough to be that guy.
Right, jerk off. That guy, I can't. I'm gonna tell you right now. Anytime that man, if I hear a ad with him, I turn it. Anytime he's on, I can't watch first take because I know he's there. Even when he's on vacation, this is the residue of him. I just can't do it. But quick question too on work before I get back to Lil Pete. This was very interesting to me, and I think you mentioned this before in an interview. You were released from your, and we know that NBC Sports Network. That was
that's a good one.
That was a bit of a kerfluffle. Is that the word? Like
that was not good.
Yeah, it was all hands on deck mess. But when you left that and were able to go back to ESPN, you were part of the Ryder Cup and Olympics deal. How did that work?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a trade involved in order for me to go. I think to go back to ESPN, which is hilarious because like I didn't want to be at NBC anymore. They didn't want me there. It was just let's just go. But that footage for Ryder Cup was traded in exchange for me. It was like a hostage situation. Wow. We gave up some prisoners. They gave up some prisoners.
Right.
so they got some footage, and I got to go back to ESPN.
Lil Pete, I'm trying to think of like a sports equivalent. Like, did
I have too been traded, but for far less stakes.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got traded for contracts. Wow. Like,
I got traded for quote unquote cash consideration.
I like cash.
Yeah, but in our terms, that meant nothing.
Not to you, but it did to the team getting you because Ray Allen.
It meant nothing to everyone.
How much
involved.
cash are we talking?
Right.
I am willing to bet no cash was ever I think it's a blanket phrase.
Oh, I love
Like,
it.
we'll give you him and we'll figure it out later. And I think they just stopped answering the calls.
But it was basically a contract, though, right?
Oh, yeah, no. I just went over to the Rockies for 2 weeks. It
Hell
was
no.
awful.
I remember Ray Allen stayed in the league for way longer than he should have, literally just to be on paper, to go from this place to that place just so we can move that contract. I mean, a lot of professional athletes do that.
Yeah.
They just stay on just so their contract can get moved around. They get some more money. All right, Little Pete, same question to you. You've had a huge former life and a ton of jobs. One thing I noticed too, man, almost every minor league team you played for, and you've played for at least – 20, 30? How many?
Probably at least 20.
At least 20.
At least.
You did media for almost everyone. They knew you had it, and they always would bring you in. Hey, can you do this for us, Mr. Decker? Can you do this? I just want to say for you in El Paso, watching you do the local sports and the weather report one particular evening and back in 2015
Man,
was amazing.
I looked good.
Bruh, them glasses.
Dude.
You had hair.
Wait, did you do the green screen weather?
I did the green screen weather. I did it from the booth. I had a little bit of a cold, so the voice was really raspy. I did the sports highlights. I did the week forecast. I wore sunglasses the entire time. I wore a checkered navy blue suit, 3-piece suit with a sweet bow tie. Sweet bow tie. I looked like a cosmic hobo with gigantic Oakleys on. Like,
Wow.
I stole from Liam Gallagher that day. I mean, I looked, and the hair. Oh, Michelle, the hair. This kid was going places.
Did not fluff a word, Miss Beadle. I don't know if you had to read anything. He did not mess up a word.
No, they gave me a script that said, I got it.
Oh, my goodness. Killed it.
I feel like El Paso weather is just like the Family Guy weather guy. Like, it's hot.
It's 100 and there's nowhere to go. No escape. You're in El Paso.
No doubt.
The end.
Oof.
Speaking of that, so what, and it doesn't have to be there, but what was your favorite former job, minor leagues or in media? Or acting?
Wow. Favorite former job. You know, you mentioned that spot in El Paso. Believe it or not, I loved, even though I was stuck in AAA, dude, if there was a place to be stuck, that's the place to be. Food's amazing. The fans were great. We were playing. I think it was because I played in so many just dog shit places, dude.
Right.
Like, in front of nobody so many times.
Right.
That the year before I was in AAA, the Padres AAA stadium was in Tucson, Arizona. Okay. And I'm not kidding. That was the year I had to live out of my car in the parking lot, and like, I'm making no money. I asked for my release like 5 times. They won't give it to me. They won't trade me. Like, they just won't do anything with me. And I'm just stuck there.
Right.
And I'm putting up numbers, and we're playing in front of 200 people a night because at the time the AAA team moved from Portland to Tucson to be a temporary site. So no one in Tucson was excited for us to be there. So no one came to the games.
Right.
We literally could hear the buzzing from our lights at the stadium every night over the crowd. It was just the worst.
No doubt.
And then I go to El Paso, and I'm playing in front of 12,000 every night, and they're chanting my name.
Wow.
It's nuts to me.
Your first at bat, wasn't it? Your first at bat, they cheered you and chanted you.
Dude, it was insane, this place. And like, when we were we were the Chihuahuas, and at the time, this was before minor league teams started having weird names. So the Chihuahuas, like, the stadium wasn't done. So the first month of the stadium, we're playing entirely on the road. Yeah. So we're just living out of our suitcases. We finally get to the stadium, and I'm talking like chanting our names game one. 13,000. It was not like I would leave the stadium to go to the parking lot, and it would be a mob of 20 to 50 people asking for autographs.
Damn.
It was nuts. I was just like, dude, like, I don't even want to go to San Diego. I don't want to get sent down to San Diego. This is sweet.
Sent down, right? That is okay. That is outstanding. I love that.
It was pretty cool.
I love that El Paso. We got a. You ever heard of the Gateway Grizzlies?
No.
Okay, I forget now. We're not even. I don't even think they're AAA. I think they might be some other league below AAA, but they're over in Sauget, Illinois, and they were you may have heard of this though. It's the Krispy Kreme burger.
Oh, I have heard of. Yeah, I've at least seen a variation of it.
Yes. And supposedly, Ms. Beadle, Lil Pete, they are the first ballpark to have it. And when you go over there, that's the type of love that those players get, like standing ovations, clapping, like high-fiving players, just always. And it's like a St. Louis Midwest thing, man, because McGuire talked about it at his first at bat in '97 when he came to the Cards. This man got a standing O and was like 2 for 24 in his last couple at bats before he had his first home game here. I don't know what it is. It's like this part of the Midwest, we really love sports, and they really love our baseball, and you get all that love over there. So I 100% understand what you're talking about. Now, since you brought up El Paso, this I found, and this really excited me, and I was like, what is this? You had tell me about the El Paso Board Youth Athletic Association that you started?
Oh, I didn't start it. I was hired to be an executive, executive director of a nonprofit trying to get kids into college through baseball and softball. It was a smaller company. They brought me in to kind of really build it up, and then like everything else, COVID hit, and then I'm stuck trying to raise I'm trying to raise millions of dollars for this organization during a time when no one was really giving money away. And, you have to sit there and try to convince people during a very tough time why it's important to give all this money to help get these kids into college, of which at the time there was no college sports. It was just, it was a tough place to navigate. It was a unfortunate way for me to leave that company. And I don't even know if the company still exists to this day, to be honest with you. But it was a very interesting time. I lived there on and off for about 2 years, driving back and forth between there and LA while doing all my radio and TV all throughout the country. It was a very unique time in the world, to say the least. And for me, I was all over the place. Yeah, it was wild.
No doubt. I think it's noble that that you even try to attempt that, and especially during a global pandemic. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the job was already a challenge, and then you throw a global pandemic in there, and you make an already difficult job borderline impossible. But you know what? We raised some money. We got some kids to 2 colleges. We got a couple of kids drafted. We've gotten people's lives were changed, which was really wonderful to see.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's about. Okay, Ms. Beadle, back to you. I believe you said this when you were working for NBC, that you would ride your bike to work. Is that correct?
Oh, at ESPN. When I moved back to New York for Get Up. Yeah, I'd get up at about 4-ish and ride over. And it was at that time of day, people think of New York and it's nonstop and it's loud and there's never a break, but it's weird that time of day because it's really you and sort of the delivery trucks are starting to pick up and, some of the street cleaning and rats. And it's a lot of rats.
That was my question. That was my other question. How many times did you ride your bike to work and how many rats did you see?
So I would see one a lot. I would see them. I rode it every morning as long as it wasn't raining or snowing. Okay. And my second to last day at Get Up, I was almost there. It was at South Street Seaport, and I'm riding along the cute little area that they have down there, and a rat runs out and hits me. Oh! So I go flying off my bike.
Wait, what?
I'm so skeeved out. so I'm cut up. My shins are all cut up. I walk into work, and I was like, rats. I literally, a rat hit me. I did not hit the rat. Dude. So yeah, that was my second to last day. And I was like, that was the sign, as if I didn't make the right decision.
You know what's really wild about that, Michelle? Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know you rode your bike there every day. So when I did the carton show every day, and this is why I rode my bike to the carton show every single day from my apartment. The reason why was all those reasons, because no one's on the road, and I didn't want to walk a 15-minute walk when I can ride a 1.5-minute bike ride, and I had to be there at 3:45. So I'm like, I'm trying to spend as much time in bed as I could before I had to skedaddle.
I loved it. It's just a nice sort of way to start the day. It's very therapeutic. Most people don't see New York then. But if they do, they're coming home and they're probably on whatever they're on, so they're not really seeing it.
And I saw things. I saw so many things.
A lot of walks of shame at that time of day.
What'd you see,
Michelle? There's a 24-hour what
diner?
No, it's not a diner. It's even
brothel?
worse. Empanada Mama.
Oh, I love that place.
Oh yeah, 24 hours. The things I've seen. In that place.
Story, please. Feel free to.
I have photos of 2 people who were clearly just shithouse drunk, just clearly in their BMW with both doors open, and the car completely running, both passed out, just completely hung out asleep, waiting for their food. There was a line of 3 cars, all the exact same thing.
What? How did they not get jacked?
I don't know. It was the most
Okay.
fascinating thing I've ever seen in my life.
Actually.
That
Surprised.
is crazy. Okay, and I'm with you guys, right? Because I'm a avid cyclist myself, and we have. You guys ever heard of the World Naked Bike Ride?
Naked?
Yes.
I've
No.
heard of it.
Yes.
I've heard of it.
Check it out. Google it. We have it in St. Louis. It's usually in like the middle of July. They have it in New York. I know they have it in L.A. You guys should check it out. It's so fun. You don't have to be naked, but you literally get to ride around your city. You start kind of like around a dusk, and then by the time you end, it's night. And just riding your bike in your city at night is just something else. And then we have Moonlight Ramble, which is a thing that's like a St. Louis thing. We do that in August, and that's literally all throughout downtown St. Louis.
That's awesome.
You hit the arch, you come up to this neighborhood, that neighborhood. It is amazing. When you see your city from a bike at night, it's like you own it. It's almost like you own it. So I love it. And
I love it.
I got to go back though. How does a rat knock you off your bike though, Ms. Beadle?
Because the timing you couldn't plan it. I mean, if this was like a movie Scorsese was directing, and it couldn't make it better. He literally timed it to where when he ran into the path, he ran to where my pedal was going down. So basically through that. So then it jacks me and throws me off the bike. And it was like, son of a mother.
God, I'm so glad you're okay.
You could not script it.
Ooh, okay.
Perfect.
And speaking of bike accidents, Lil Pete, you said on the show a couple weeks ago, last month, that you had a serious bike accident. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it was funny. I was at Fox at the time, and we had a week off, and I was really excited. I was going to have a staycation here in New York. I wasn't going to go anywhere. I was just going to enjoy my time in New York City because it was like a week where the city was going to be kind of dead. And I'm like, I'm going to go just do whatever the hell I want. And on the first day, I get thrown from my bike middle of the day, ass over tea kettle, right in the middle of the street. And I landed relatively safely. I wore a helmet. I was fine. But like how I landed, weirdly enough, I don't know why this kicked in, but like, so I did during COVID go through a little bit of wrestling training because there was a time where I was this close to going to the WWE.
Oh, shit.
And it wasn't to be a wrestler. It was to do like camera,
Media.
all the other stuff.
Okay.
Talkie.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they said I had to make this video thing for myself, so I made a package about me training to become a wrestler for my WrestleMania moment, and I just made it on iMovie over a day. But I was training with Sin Cara, the former WWE wrestler. He was training me, so I filmed it, and I learned how to land and do it. And dude, I hated this. It was fun and athletic, but I was just like, dude, this is so tedious and awful. I hate this.
No doubt.
But I learned how to land.
Yeah.
And how you land, when you tuck your chin and you dissipate the fall by banging your hands to the side to make yourself as long and flat as you can. So your hands kind of hit the ground at the same time, or almost right before your body hits the ground to kind of dissipate the landing.
Right.
I did that on 9th Avenue in the middle of the street, and my hands just swelled up like they were balloons. It looked like I was wearing like Mickey Mouse mitts for like a week, for 2 weeks, and couldn't really do anything with my hands for like properly for about a month and a half, 2 months. So I fractured a small part of my palm over here. This one I just kind of bruised. It was brutal, but at the end of the day, man, I stopped riding my bike in the city.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Okay. And so the lesson learned is do not land on the concrete like you do in a ring?
No, just don't land on the concrete, period. It doesn't matter what hits.
Good advice.
Hurt.
That's very good advice. Yeah, I like that.
Woo, woo. Okay. So I get it. I'm so glad you're better, bro, because I've had serious accidents before myself. They suck. Okay. So Ms. Beadle, question for you. When did you know Sirius XM was going to be the right fit?
It's funny because I have been that's all I listen to. I listen to sports talk radio from time I get up in the morning till the afternoon or sometimes night, depending on what's going on, like when I'm in my car or when I'm walking to and from. So I remember I had switched to agents. Like after COVID, I basically had to just reintroduce myself into the world. And one day I was just like, have we thought about Sirius? And P.S. That's probably not how it should have worked. It probably should have worked the other way. But we did. And I remember they were like, they talked to some people and obviously talked to NBA and talked to Mad Dog. And then so I got the chance to sort of fill in a couple times. And then when there was an opening coming, they were like, would you be interested in doing a daily 3-hour show? Which I was like, I've always thought you should do everything once, right? Like, unless it's absolutely against some belief or something, but try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. It's just that simple. And that was kind of it. Like, it was one of those things where, like when you use a product and then the product comes to you and says, do you want to be an endorser? You're like, that worked out perfectly. So it's kind of cool. And Mad Dog, I love NBA radio. Don't get me wrong. Termini over there is one of my favorites to listen to, but getting to be at Mad Dog means I get to talk about everything. Right. And I had done just NBA for so long that this was the perfect situation. Like, legitimately every sport, anytime that we sort of get to do that. Right. Perfect.
Because I figured, with your background, it'd be NBA radio or NBA TV. I was looking forward to seeing you on NBA TV.
Right,
When I didn't see you on there, I was low-key upset. But, like Mad Dog Sports, it's every sport. So I guess that was intriguing. You weren't just pigeonholed into one thing.
Yeah, and it was radio, and it was just sort of there. Again, there's that freedom that I was talking about. I like sort of getting a chance. Look, don't get me wrong. NBA Countdown, before I got it, was a dream job, like on my list. And it's to this day, the people that I worked with and the people I worked with on camera and behind I loved them all. But, we had 7 minutes total of content in like an entire program. It was just, it's the opposite of what TNT's doing. So that's rough. You got 4 people up there and you have 7 minutes and maybe you get a word in, and I like this better. It's like actual conversations.
No doubt. 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it sucks when you guys were on there, but it's great for me. So that's how I avoid Stephen A. during pregame and halftime. I go right to TNT. I don't watch that crap.
We're not lying.
So yes, ma'am. Or NBA TV. All right. Same thing to you, Lil Pete. How did you know Sirius XM was right for you?
So it was how this all happened with Michelle and I. It's to this day has been a mystery to me. No one's actually adequately explained it to me at any given moment. How it really kind of came to be was, I had done all my radio shows, and literally when I moved to New York was the moment that all my contracts came up to an end. And so I kept one show going with Odyssey that was more of like a freelance thing that I enjoyed doing on Saturdays and with my buddies. And then I was doing all these other things. So I started at Fox, and I still had 2 paid weekly hits for Stadium. I still had a weekly show at Odyssey. I still had a separate weekly show on 670 The Score in Chicago until that ran out. And that was doing all of these jobs at the same time when I was in New York. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the year, my Odyssey stuff was all cleared out, and Sirius XM gave me a call to do some stuff on the fantasy channel. So I had a show with Steve Phillips, who's a friend of our show. So he and I did a show together for about 5-6 months. And then I did another show for them.
They used to run the Mets?
Yeah. Did a show with Steve Phillips called Fantasy Dirt. It was me and him, and we was just a fantasy baseball show leading into the baseball season. And then I was filling in over here, and then I started filling in a lot on Mad Dog all of a sudden. At that point, I hadn't met a single person on Mad Dog. All of a sudden, I was just filling in this shift. And believe it or not, they actually called me and asked me, listen, we will have a shift available between this time. And it was not our time. That might be coming up. And I was like, I might be interested just because I want to do, I doing TV for those last 3 years and always doing radio. I actually, like Michelle's saying, I prefer radio. Radio allows a freedom you just simply do not have on TV.
Preach.
And our show, like you said, we just do whatever the hell we want. It's awesome. We have things we got to talk about. Like, yeah, we're a sports show, but the reason why I don't know if Michelle thinks exactly this as I do, but like Michelle and I, and as far as my perspective is, we're more interested in the peripheral. Like, yeah, we could talk X's and O's, but why? X's and O's are boring and stupid.
So boring.
And it's just like I don't play chess to look at the board. I play chess to challenge the person in front of me and enjoy the game. I want to talk about enjoying the games, and Michelle and I have way more fun doing that. Hell, I think Michelle and I would have way more fun just talking 80s pop music for 3 hours than we ever would about the NBA, Major League Baseball, or the NFL. But we get to sprinkle a ton of that in too. So How did I know Sirius XM was going to be it? Literally day one working with Michelle. I was like, yeah, this is it. We actually were put together for a couple of test shows, which I didn't know were test shows. I thought they were just literally.
I did.
I had no idea. I thought I was just filling in a spot.
Right, man. Because it's just like your chemistry is amazing. I'm just so glad that they were able to, put you two together, because I wouldn't expect, because I didn't. All I know is I tune into Mad Dog. I listen to Adam Shine, and then right after Adam Shine last year, August, I think it's 22nd, my daughter's first day of 6th grade, Michelle Beadle. Oh, that's my girl from ESPN, and Cody Decker, ex-baseball player. Wow, they got a show, and I listened to it. I mean, from Giddy Up, you guys were completely different than anything else on Sirius XM Sports, like you just were. And my question to both of you, and whoever wants to can answer it first, why don't the other Mad Dog shows like talk about other stuff? I guess Babcheck and them, I don't know, I don't listen to their stuff. It's too early for me.
Yeah, they do.
I don't like the way Babcheck has done my boy Lil Pete, so I'm good on that. But other than them, it seems like you guys are the only ones that can talk about stuff other than the same mundane sports topic that was talked about for the last 4 hours, 5, 6 hours before y'all. How come nobody else does that?
Yeah, Cody.
Damn it. I really thought Michelle was answering this question. They do.
I mean, look, Shine.
Shine, yeah.
I think, Christopher Mad Dog Russo is just his own creature.
Yeah.
I once tuned in, and I think he had Rob Reiner on, and it was 3 hours of JFK conspiracies. And I'll be honest with you, like when your name's on the channel, you can do that.
True.
So,
True.
And it was fascinating. He would have a guy wrote like a biography on for like an hour and a half, like. He's doing the things at this point that he loves to talk about too. And he'll also break down, the 40s and 50s and baseball and that kind of stuff. But, and Shine is just funny because in between, like when we get there, Shine does love a lot of stuff that we all do, but he is more of sort of, he likes those great interviews, which he gets the big guys. I mean, he got Josh Allen like 10 minutes after that overrated list was released. So, it's
and
kind
Lamar
of like,
Jackson.
that it was amazing. I was like, how does he already have Josh Allen talking about this?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that's kind of, he's bringing the heat when it comes to that. And then we're just sort of the two idiots that are sandwiched in between them to talk about whatever.
So like, I see the channel is like the best mix of everything you could possibly want. Like you just said, like Shine's amazing at these interviews, and he is like hardcore sports talk, like legitimate, not even a throwback. He does everything at such an exponential level. Mad Dog is Mad Dog. He does whatever the hell he wants, and it's awesome. Right. And then the morning show is a little bit more wild in between. So it's like you have your kind of wild morning show that's almost cute. That's a sports show that is got hints of like a morning zoo. You got followed with like serious in-depth sports, followed by whatever the hell you could ever call our show, followed by Mad Dog. So like, it's just, I think you have literally everything at this channel.
Right.
And I don't even think we try to think about like coming up with different approaches to things. We just, if it's something we don't want to talk about, we'll tell you we do not want to talk about it.
Right. I 100% get that. I think I love the way you all do it. Tom Byrne, I love him too. I wish he would mix in a little bit of that. But Tom Byrne, he can't. He's like watching live games and commenting on it and taking calls on it at the same damn time. So he really can't. But I love what
who does a good job of it is George Reister at night. And he's got Raj behind the scenes, who is Max and Marcellus's old producer back in LA. So they definitely do a good job of ridiculous top 5 lists and stuff like that. So they mix it in. I know. It's later for us on the East Coast, but when I'm on the West Coast, I hear them a lot more.
And here's the thing: I work second shift. I work from 2:30 to 10:30. So Reister is right when I get off of work.
Yeah.
But the thing that sucks for me, every time I tune into Reister, all he's talking about is football. That's all he ever talks about. Like, I get it, and that's all Shine. That's why I don't listen to Shine as much anymore, because that's all Shine talks about. It's like he knows football and baseball, and that is it. And I know what people's strong suits are, and they go towards that. But damn, mix it the hell up, y'all. Like that. That's
it's tough because the football thing is like, And now this is our last regular Sunday.
Yeah,
forever.
We're gonna,
So
pretty much our last one.
So yeah, it'll be nonstop. Luckily, we're lucky that there are so many ridiculous stories though that happen all the time, because there was a time. I mean, I get it. Like, I worked at a place where it was just football, and you're like, I don't mind it. I love the NFL. I like watching the NFL.
Right.
But I do think the stories that happen across the board help for us, especially. Like, we need them.
I think so, and I love that you all mix it up. I got a quick question. Christian with a K. Christian with a K. Can I keep going, or do I got to stop?
Christian with a K.
Keep going. I can keep going. Thank you.
Christian with a CK.
That Christian with a K. That's she has a show that comes on right after mine. Her show is amazing. She plays music. Okay, nice. So she gave me some overtime. So I got these important questions I want to ask you guys. Okay. Ms. Beadle, back to you. South Beach session, like I said, I learned a lot. It was amazing, and the laugh I let out when I was at, we got a grocery store here called Deerberg's. It's a great grocery store. Price is a little too high, but they're good. I'm in Deerberg's. I'm listening to it on my phone, and the laugh I let out in that store when you said, bitches shouldn't be talking sports. Oh my good, like, wow. And my question to you is, why would I say that? No, the reason why, I'll give you the context. The reason why you said it is because that's the type of bullshit that you see in your mentions. You know what I'm saying? You got racist, sexist, misogynistic men that hate on you because you're a female and you know sports. My question to you is, has it gotten better for women in sports? And also, how come we don't see more women of color?
Well, I do think there was a period of time where there was sort of a transition, right? There were more women of color being put in some of the bigger roles that before you just hadn't seen. And then, it seems like we're sort of starting to go back to the way things used to be. Yeah. But no, I don't notice it as. I'm sure it's out there, like the hate for women. It always will be. You're going to have mouth breathers no matter what generation of that we're talking about here, right? Like, they exist no matter what. There are young ones, there are middle-aged ones, and there are old ones, and that's fine. Right. I think the thing now is that people have gotten thicker skins, A, but B, you know who we're talking about, right? Like, these are not people that you're going to care about their opinions anyways. And the checks are clearing. So it's just sort of where you're like, if you hate me, you hate me. But I think there's plenty of hate to go around too, right? Like, I think the McAfees of the world are getting a ton of hate as much as love. And we mentioned Stephen A. Like, I think there are more people hate watching some of that stuff than they are love watching it. So again, and they have giant checks that are clearing. So it's hate, love, I don't know that it matters at this point. And as long as you don't let it get to you, you'll be fine.
There you go. Oh, I love that. Inspirational words. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Lil Pete, serious question for you. I watched a TMZ interview that you gave from 2020, and you discussed something that I never thought was an issue in baseball, but I mean, it is an issue in this, unfortunately, in this world. Anti-Semitism in baseball. I was shocked by that when you brought it up in your candid interview. Really, it opened my eyes to stuff that that I've never had to deal with. I have Jewish, my aunt is Jewish, but I never, and my cousins are mixed, but I never thought of this. How much was this a problem, and do you think it's gotten better?
It was a big problem when people found out I was Jewish. That was the thing that was weird about it, because my last name's Decker, so you don't need me, and there's nothing about me that inherently seems Jewish. I don't even know what seems Jewish. People see Seinfeld and they just think they know what Jews are. It's wild. It was weird. Like, I grew up I didn't realize how sheltered I was, like, growing up. And it wasn't like my family sheltered me. It was just Santa Monica, California is very much a very specific bubble. I grew up a very much more idealistic type of atmosphere, which was weird because this was, I was going into high school during, the Bush administration when things were getting very heated. This was, 9/11 just happened my freshman year, followed by the whole Iraq war. And, all of a sudden the world was becoming this political atmosphere to where Michelle said she wanted to be in politics. I wanted to be in politics, but I thought so many more people were a lot more like-minded to me. And then, me playing baseball and going to leaving Southern California and seeing other baseball players from the country. oh, no. They've never seen a Jew. They don't know what I am all of a sudden. And the amount of times I had to deal with this weird joke where someone would take off my hat and feel my forehead. He's like, oh, I don't feel horns. I'm like, so funny. Great joke.
That's Sacha Baron Cohen's fault, though. I mean, that's
probably. but I'm just like, it was so weird going through this. I never dealt with anti-Semitism growing up because I grew up with a pretty large Jewish community in Santa Monica. Even though we weren't really raised all that Jewish, I celebrate the holidays. I light the candles on Hanukkah. I say the prayer completely wrong, but that's all I really do. I love bacon. I love pork. Like, I don't understand. So anyways.
Ironically, I don't eat pork. Yeah, which were you supposed to
see, it's weird. She's the Jew. Right. I'm just a guy. But it's wild. Like, and I'll never forget it. Like, it wasn't just some players. It was baseball supplies Sunday chapel to every single baseball team. And I didn't care that there was Sunday chapel. I was perfectly fine with it. But then I was starting to get harassed by the chaplains for not coming to Sunday chapel. Whoa. Like, he's like, oh, it's a non-denominational. I'm like, you have a holy Bible in your hand. Right. Yes, I don't see the rabbi at your side. I'm not coming to the Bible study. It's perfectly fine. But one time, even my manager had to step in. And by the way, that manager was John Gibbons, who's the bench coach right now for the Mets, who I absolutely loved. A guy who, by the way, is so far on the opposite side of the political spectrum for me. And we had so much fun bantering about it. Like, he was actually like this wonderful beacon of hope that I had in the world. Wow. It was just a weird thing when in baseball, because baseball is weirdly Christian. And I don't think it's by anybody's fault, or even if it should be a fault. It was a weird thing at the time. There are a lot more Jews in baseball now. Me playing for Team Israel probably opened up a lot of eyes at one point. Most front offices are Jewish.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. They are, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that, bro.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I hope it's gotten better. I hope it's gotten better in the sport.
In the sport, I have not been in the sport the last couple of years, but I do see a lot more people that are Jewish in the game. I see a lot more people talking about it that are in the game. It's going to take a long time, and obviously everything that's happening right now in the world, it's not exactly the most friendly time to be openly Jewish and talking about it. But I mean, we have to. If you don't, then nothing gets better. And I'm terrified it gets worse before it gets even worse before it gets better. But I hope that cooler heads at some point prevail.
1,000,000%. Like, that's how I am with race in this country. If you put it in a closet and hide it and never discuss it, how in the hell is it supposed to get any better? We have to talk about these. They're uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable conversations, but they must be had. So we have to have them. All right, back to a softball. Miss Beadle, you did not say on the show what you thought about it, so I got to ask you now. Deadpool Wolverine, go.
Oh, I just saw it 2 nights ago.
You just saw it?
My God.
Damn. Yeah, I did. I know. It trust me, it was like pulling teeth around these places, but I got to do it. And
your person didn't want to go? He was too busy watching Michael Crichton?
He's busy watching these Criterion movies. Yeah, and I'm like, we have got to go see Deadpool.
I'm actually kind of mad at him.
I know. Trust me, I know. And look, I loved it. Right. I knew I would. Was every joke a hit? Sure, it wasn't, but they went for it. They basically did high quantities of lines, like boom, 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 nonstop. Yeah. And I like the inside jokes. I loved the dog. I'm not exaggerating. When the dog first came out, you guys, I had tears streaming, like happy, blissful tears streaming down my face. This dog is everything. And then she came on like 2 more times, and I looked like an idiot laughing. And Hugh Jackman, for what it's, he takes his shirt off in one scene, and Ryan Reynolds does like a once over that we all are doing in that moment. Like I could feel the theater just like, oh, excuse me. I love him. I loved it. I'm so happy they got it done. Two thumbs up for me. Deadpool Wolverine.
I'm glad you liked it. I was waiting for you to say it on the show. What is it? What is it? Hugh Jackman, Till You're 90.
till you're 90.
Like Ryan said, till you're 90, bro.
The Chris Evans stuff at the end when he just spews all
so
the
good.
worst things you could. I was like, this is a great 2 minutes of film.
I loved him being Johnny Blaze, and I know Johnny Storm, Johnny Blaze. I knew Lil Pete was trying his best not to say that on the show the
I
day
know.
before he went
trust
to go
me.
to the movie.
Like there were some cameos that by now I had seen just because it took me so long.
Right.
I thought Channing Tatum was fantastic.
Right.
I cheered. I went when Snipes came out because I didn't know that one. I did not know, so that was fun.
Yes.
It was good. It was good. It was really good.
The only I was so happy to see Snipes to see Wesley. The only thing that messed me up with that is the day. I went to see the movie day of. Lil Pete didn't have to worry about this because he saw it like midnight showing the day before. And Wesley put on his Twitter page that day all of them walking out. On the free. Yes, he did. The day it released, he put that. I was like, damn, bro, you couldn't wait a day?
Dude, someone should have told him. He's old. He didn't know.
He didn't.
His tax guy put out that tweet.
It was so good. All right. So another question. Another one I have for you guys. What is it? Before we get up out of here, I know you guys' time is running short, so I just want to say this. Lil Pete, help me out with this one. You were in an a cappella group in high school called the Testosterones, bro?
It's getting worse.
No.
Yeah, Marshall, tell us about this.
The testosterone.
Oh, wow. Even better.
Nope.
Yes. We were great.
Oh.
we were badasses. What can I say? We basically just.
Were you all virgins?
I will let you know. I at that point had sex in my life, Michelle Beale. That's right.
Nice.
Thank you.
Shocked by that. We're shocked by that.
It's a wonder I've had sex now. What are you talking about?
Well, now it's not that big a deal.
I mean,
now.
maybe to some people, Michelle. Listen, I was a part of a group called the Testosterone. It was an offshoot of the choir. I dressed like a Chippendales dancer, cut off tuxedo top, cut off sleeve shirt because I had really cool arms when I was in high school. Hold on, we're not done. Beach Boys songs. I remember we played at a choir because Santa Monica High School had like an award-winning choir. We performed at a choir performance where we interrupted and then we sang Hanson's Mbop.
Oh, that's a good one.
It was good.
Wow.
Banger back in the day.
Yeah, it was a banger.
I would give anything if your mother, if your saint of a mother in Santa Monica can find some video of that and you put that on one of your pages, Lil Pete, You really should. Man, I would love to see that, bro.
I got a lot of videos of me at a different time where it would like honestly, I should upload the entire performance of the Music Band one day.
Please do. Please do. Oh my God. Fans of the show would love it.
That'd be fun.
Please do it.
Okay. Miss Beadle, why out of all the sports and you living in hot ass football worshiping Texas, why did that hit hardest for you?
I mean, that was just, that's the San Antonio thing. When we moved there, I was in the 6th grade, and I remember, I didn't want to move. When you're that age, you think those friends that you had in 4th and 5th grade are going to be your friends for 40 years, and you're like, I can't leave. But we left.
Right.
And I remember, like, the first week or so that we were there, my dad, and we had been to some Mavericks games when I was younger, but it wasn't the same thing. Like, I was a little kid. I just wanted ice cream. Mm-hmm. And I remember he's like, we're going to go to Tony Roma's where they're having a Spur. It was the day they brought Rod Strickland over to San Antonio. And David Robinson was there. And he's like, we're going to go and see the Spurs. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And we went to a few games. And it was just sort of, I fell in love. At that point, I was probably 13 ish.
That's a good
maybe.
age.
Yeah, like I was pretty young. I took a Polaroid picture with David Robinson. And as a typical teenage girl, I Sharpied myself out of the picture because you're like, oh, I'm so gross. And then I just had somewhere in San Antonio that picture exists and I want to find it. And it was just sort of became a love affair. Like that is what we have in San Antonio. We had a minor league, we still do, a minor league baseball team, eventually had a minor league hockey team as well. But the Spurs are everything. They're every billboard. They're on the radio. It is what it is. And so you couldn't help but sort of fall in love with them. And that was it. That was my hook. And, Michael Jordan obviously is also a big part of that. You couldn't. he was the biggest star in the world in my mind, and probably in a lot of people's minds at the time, and posters and whatnot. So yeah, it just became basketball. Just became my thing. Yeah,
we gotta throw that up there for the GOAT. And special, like, what I collected. I'm a card collector back in the day. So Willie Anderson.
Your
guy,
of course.
Sean Elliott,
my favorite.
David
to this day.
Avery Johnson. Of course, Pop. But yeah, I mean, I had so many Spurs cards. I had guys that I wouldn't know.
Terry Cummings, Mario Elliott.
There it is. Talk about it. Talk about it. See, I remember Mario more with the Rockets.
Yeah, Rockets claim him, but
yeah, he's with y'all, no doubt. All right. Okay, so Lil Pete, what is it? Nate Radio, and special shout out to Nate for making all this happen. I appreciate you so much, brother. He brought up trading cards for you guys last week or earlier this week, and my question to you is, Lil Pete, favorite brand: Donruss, Fleer, or Topps?
Topps all day long.
Okay.
It's the card. It was a goal for me to have a Topps card, and I luckily got 3 of them. So that was cool when I got my Topps deal, and I got a Topps card. It's just, I know baseball cards aren't what they were, but for me, when I got my first Topps card, that's me on a real full-on Major League Baseball card. I'm like, that's badass, bro.
I have a Topps card. I don't know why we're acting like that's so big.
Whoa, you got your own?
I do.
Oh, please bring that to the show.
By the way, I have boxes of them. They were not flying off the shelves.
Oh, I'll take one.
They didn't even make boxes of mine. They probably made 10.
That is dope, though.
I literally have them somewhere in San Antonio. Next time I go home, I'm going to bring a bunch of crap back. I think we need it. Because that was the thing. Because I feel like with NBA, Fleer had a pretty decent presence. Topps is Topps, but Fleer had some, I have sets of that too. So but they weren't as pretty. They never were.
I even have Upper Deck cards.
Upper Deck, that's a good one.
So that was my question to Miss Beadle, because I know Upper Deck did baseball, but Upper Deck to me is a basketball card. So Miss Beadle, you, what was your favorite? Upper Deck, Fleer, or Hoops? Remember Hoops?
Oh, Hoops is I can actually see them. They had the gold border around it. I have a bunch of that too. You know what? I probably have more. Actually, I have a lot. I have from 88 to about 91 or 92. I have a lot of complete sets of all of the companies, because I'm one of those people that when I like something, I hoard it. I go and get as many of them as I can. So one of these days when I bring that stuff back, I know there's got to be something of value in all those cards. At least one. It's got to be.
I mean, it 100% has. And I mean, you have full unopened sets, Miss Lady. That's money.
Yeah, I got sets. Yeah. They're sitting there.
I've got a 91 whole season. I got a 92 whole season of Flair still in the box. That's how you do it.
Fun.
Okay, so we're about to wrap. You guys have been great. I got a ton more questions, but I ain't gonna hold y'all all day. So before we get out of here, Lil Pete, question for you. Actually, it might be two questions. DNC just ended. I don't know. Yeah. We vaguely talked about this on Beadle and Decker. I don't know where you guys lean politically, but I have an idea.
You can guess.
What do you?
Guess.
Okay, good. What is it, Lil Pete? What did you think about the DNC? And a question I asked to Miss Beadle right after Biden dropped out in July. I said, "Do you think America's ready for a female president?" What say you, sir?
At the time, the question is, am I ready for a female president, or is America?
America.
When that question was asked at the time, I was really worried the answer was no, because my faith in humanity had really dropped at a very specific moment at that time. And I really think I was wrong, and all of a sudden feeling strangely hopeful in the world again. And that is a weird feling to have all of a sudden. I am enjoying life.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Because in 2020, I felt that too, and that was a rude awakening.
Yeah, this is a wild feeling. I really want to be wrong about that, and I might be.
There you go. Miss Beadle, look at everybody. Right, exactly. Miss Beadle, you already know. Same question to you. What do you think now?
Yeah, no, look, it's funny, right? We had a black president. We tried to have a woman president. Didn't work. Now we get 2 in 1. And if America ain't ready, and you put a sweet grandpa guy with her that is like a hunter and a gun dude, a loving family man, like an actual loving family man. We're not just emptying those words out just to say them. So yeah, it's one of those. We have to be. Mm-hmm. And look, it's a weird time because it may not be ultimately for some about her as much as it's against the other. Mm-hmm. And whatever it takes is where I am at this point. Like just let's not do this again. That's all. I think we did it. We had that chapter, right? Yeah, let's have a new chapter.
Exactly. I mean, it was the worst chapter. I mean, we never thought we could be worse than Bush. We didn't think we could get worse than George Bush. Looks like Kennedy right now compared to this fool. Like,
no, for sure. God. You know it's bad when at a funeral they're all sitting together, like Bush, Obama, everybody's sitting together.
And what you call it? He didn't even come. He didn't even come to that funeral. I don't think.
No, he did. It
was McCain's, wasn't it? It was McCain's. He didn't even go.
And then the inauguration, they all sat.
Jimmy Carter is still alive. Thank you, Kick It. Appreciate you.
Yeah, barely.
Yes. He's still here though.
His wife just died. That's I think that's what it was.
That's super sad, right? Jimmy Carter, that man was amazing. He got put through hell for doing all the right things. Okay, last question, Miss Beadle. Second to last question? I'm sorry, Miss Beadle. Would you ever go back to ESPN?
You know, now that Norby's gone, I'd like to think the culture is going to change. I don't know. Okay. Never say never. I'm not worried if I never do, though. Put it that way.
All right. Lil Pete, if you had a magic wand, bruh, and first question, what's next for you? And second question, if you had a magic wand, what would you want to be the next chapter for Mr. Decker?
What's next for me is what I'm doing right now at the moment. That's if I had a magic wand, we would do the show for the next 15 years.
Okay. That sounds good.
15 too many? Okay, 10.
But we get really handsome raises.
But like super, no, like every year.
Like it doubles.
Exponentially.
And y'all get to host the Oscars like
yeah, like just something like that.
Yeah. But like we're at a place like where everyone says how bad we were. We don't care. We
don't care.
We're just showering in money.
That's the dream. Not ever caring again.
You doing it. That's how it works. Miss Beadle, you keep playing them lottery cards. You heading there.
That's my dream. Tuesday night Mega Millions. Nobody won. Let's go.
I've never heard the only two rich people I know that play the lottery as much as is Shaq and Miss Michelle Beadle. I swear. They already
By the way,
rich.
Shaq doing it is a little offensive. We can all agree. The man prints money.
He does. He's his own business. Okay, Miss Beadle, what's next for you? And if you had a magic wand, what would you?
I'm not kidding because the Mega Millions would really change a lot of things for me.
Show'd be over tomorrow.
$681 million. I might change a little. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. No, you know what would be fun? Because the thing is, you could still do the job, but it changes everything, right? Like there's just a different air to it. And then I would set up my dog rescue, mostly pugs. And that would be amazing too. I don't really have a next. Like, FanDuel will be back. We're doing this. Like, I just kind of like staying busy, but also having a personal life. That's really all I wanted. Right. Which is working out fine.
I love it. Run It Back will be back. When is that? Because I like that show. When is that coming back?
Yeah, end of October. Run It Back. FanDuel TV. I'll be excited to see the boys again. We get a long off season with that. It's kind of like being a player, but not.
It is.
It's nice.
You get all the good stories. You get all the good stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Over the Top with Pete Rosenberg. That's still going on.
Yeah, we're coming back. I want to say they're redoing a lot. I don't know if you guys keep it up with the Wondery stuff, but they're signing big things. So I think we're coming back at the end of the year is the plan, but we're going to at least come out with a little more of a focus and sort of now we know what we're doing. So we're going to do it.
Nice.
Right.
Little Pete, you got anything you want to plug, my brother?
Plug it.
Yeah. Beadle and Decker, Mad Dog Sports Radio Channel 82, Monday through Friday. That's on Sirius XM. That's Michelle Beadle and myself, Cody Decker. And I got another show we check out Saturdays. They barely pay me. Don't worry about it.
Well, then they get somebody to watch. Maybe they'll pay.
Oh, all right. Bet for the Cycle on BetQL Network on Saturdays, noon to 4. Rob Brown, my co-host, is awesome. He's great.
There you
should
go.
follow everything he does.
Miss Beadle, you are a mentor to this man. I hope you know.
Yo,
that.
totally.
You know, like,
We're great
my
at
God. So, yo, I just want to say, I have a reflection today, since you guys always have your reflections. My reflection is this was probably the funnest and best interview I've done in a long time. You guys were you were just as cool as you are every day, 5 days a week on Mad Dog Sports Radio as you were today with me. I've never had a weekend dose of you guys, but this was outstanding. So my reflection is y'all are the shit, and I just appreciate this. If you all ever would like to come back and waste some time, and I'm so serious about this too, Miss Beadle, I'll still send you the soaps and the incenses that I told you I would send if I lost the bet. I'll still send you that if you'd like to. All I got to do is get an address. I'll send it to the studio. And Lil Pete, you bring your ass to St. Louis because you've never been to Busch Stadium, which you need to go to, my brother, and every blunt that you want will be on me. Like 100%. I got mine right here. I was about to spark it, but I wanted to get through this marathon of an awesome interview first.
Oh. Man, you rocked, yo. That was better questions than I've been asked ever. So well done, sir.
Wow,
well
thank
done.
you. I greatly appreciate that. That was amazing.
Yeah, you did some homework.
I did, literally. But yo, I just love y'all. I'm a huge fan. So thank you so much for doing this. I can't.
We'll talk tomorrow. We'll be back on.
Definitely, I will. And I got to work tomorrow as well. I was going to be off, but I'm working. So yeah,
we're working.
I will talk to y'all like I usually do on the way to work. So
that sounds like a plan.
Thank you, Lil Pete. Thank Cody Decker. Thank you, Miss Michelle Beadle. You guys were awesome. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man.
Right on. Peace out. Yo, this was an amazing show, y'all. Make sure you check out Beadle and Decker Beadle and Decker on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Their show is dope. I listen to it every day. Also, too, I hope y'all saw my championship shirt. I didn't show that to them. I should have, but man, this was great. Check out their show, Mad Dog Sports Radio, 11 to 2 Central Standard Time. It's outstanding. Like I said, they talk about sports and they talk about other stuff, y'all. Yo, keep smoking, keep hooping. Oh, man. I'm elated. I'm out. Deuces.